Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the Spurs-related YouTube channel and podcast. I hope everyone is doing very, very well. Or is it panic stations and people aren't doing so well? We'll get into things. Hope everyone's doing very well. Please make sure you are smashing the like button still. Massive, massive thank you to for the support yesterday. I think there was like 7,000 of you that watched the episode. 300 or 400 of you watching live. It's absolutely crazy numbers. Obviously, Eberici Eze has got people talking, got people excited. But has that excitement just dwindled down slightly because of the lack of news today? Well, we're going to bring you all the latest news. And as you can see, I am joined alongside my regular co-host, Frank Thomas, which is Thomas Frank's AI son, for those of you that do not know. And I am also joined alongside Billy T of course, Twitter. If you don't know him, you're under a rock if you're or you're not on Twitter, maybe. But we'll start with Frank. Frank, how you doing, mate? You good?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm excited. I'm excited for today. Obviously, the news has been a little bit slower today than it was yesterday. But then again, it wouldn't shock me if whilst we're live, something came out, because I say it's very rarely a quiet day at Tottenham.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? I think we're due a tweet from Fabrizio. I think he's just been trying to dodge everything. You know, he's just trying to. He doesn't want to give us another "here we go" after what happened with the Gibbs White thing. I'm sure it's to do with that. But we're also delighted to be joined alongside again Billy T, as I said. Billy, mate, thanks for coming on yet again. I think it's a weekly thing now here, isn't it? How you doing, mate?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, mate. Very good. It's constantly refreshing my Twitter at the moment, hoping for a "here we go," but who knows? I'm getting a bit nervous at this stage now.
Yeah. I think, mate, you might be nervous. I don't think you're as nervous as me, because I literally put my neck on the line last night's stream and said, guys, it's 100% happening. Stop panicking. You know, it's definitely happening. Paul O'Keefe said deal agreed, deal sealed. We're even naming our videos deal sealed. And now, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit panicked. Maybe I've got PTSD since the Gibbs White one, guys. I'll be honest. Right, anyway, let's invite people into the chat. Guys, get your comments in. And I did do the Fantasy Football League for you guys. I think there's already about 20 of you in there. So if you want to join the Fantasy Football League, let me know in the comments below. Put FPL and I'll send you the link. I'll put it in the YouTube comments. But Krish is in here. Said, I don't think Eze is going to happen. Krish, let's keep the positivity, mate. Let's keep the positivity. That's just me saying 1 minute, because that was me with the technical stuff in the background. Stephen Wilson saying this world's been spinning 4.5 billion years, and we had to be alive at the same time as Keir Starmer and Daniel Levy. That's a generational tweet, that one. I reckon Billy T would like that one. Simon Cohen said, no news is good news, boys. What do you think of that, Frank? Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I think so. On the most part, there's a couple of comments coming in there about Richarlison to Palace. There's a Daily Mail article that's been written in the last couple of minutes. So, with a pinch of salt, it says Tottenham considering offering Richarlison as part of Eze deal. They'd then move for Johan Visser as a replacement. But it's the Daily Mail, so I'm slightly skeptical.
Let's see.
Yeah, on the whole, though, no news is probably good news, but it feels like everything Spurs do is constantly in silence, and we're always left in the dark a little bit until something actually does happen. This sounds obvious, but like until it either happens or it doesn't, it feels like we don't ever really know what's going on. Yeah, and that's not really a new thing. That's kind of been Tottenham for a long time, and that is a bit frustrating. But more often than not, no news is probably good news.
Sure, no, makes sense, mate. Fred's in again, mate. Fred, hope you're doing well, mate. He's saying, praying Arsenal don't hijack the Eze deal after the Havertz injury. We'll get onto if the Havertz thing has any impact in a minute. I personally don't think it does. I feel like Eze is more of a 10 and left wing. Havertz is technically a 9, but you could argue he's a 10 as well. Roy Parks saying, sorry, miss one. Chris, we'll get into the Richarlison's Palace links. Maybe we'll share our screen. I'll do a few more comments and then we'll get into things, get Billy T's thoughts and everyone else. Roy Parks saying, big up, fellas. Billy T is now part of the furniture on many Spurs pods, and I'm here for it. There you go, Roy. Billy, you got Roy as one of your biggest fans, mate. What do you think of that?
Yeah, man, always happy to go on pods, especially I'm in the school holidays at the moment. That's why I've got 2 weeks left, and then I'll never be seen again after that.
Got you. So after 2 more weeks, it's sort of like if I want to get you on, I sort of got to sort of send you an invoice, sort of thing.
Exactly that, mate.
Right,
exactly.
Got
Free,
you.
of course, but I've just got You're
sending me invoices. Chris is saying breaking. Tottenham are going to offer Richarlison's Palace. This is Daily Mail, Chris. we need to delve into this in a little bit of more detail in a minute. Nicholas saying thoughts on Nicholas Jackson. Could he be our Richarlison replacement? Absolutely no, thank you, would be my answer to that one. How about you, Billy?
Not for me, thank you, mate. Not for me. I'd rather have Lookman or I see in the same article it says if that happens, we'd go for Whistler. So I think that's much more likely.
Yeah, there's been an update on
Yeah,
this.
Thomas Frank apparently wants Whistler. So
Newcastle getting another bid rejected for 35 million plus 5 million. Apparently, Brentford trying to hold out for 60 million euros. And obviously, Visser has thrown his toys out the pram, deactivating not deactivating his Instagram, but putting his Instagram profile picture to a blank canvas and deleting all his Brentford pictures. I mean, sounds like he's like in a toxic relationship or something. It's absolutely nuts. Joe's saying if Eze plays tomorrow for Palace, there's no way he'll be joining. It'll make him cup tied. Frank, you're shaking your head. What do you think?
not true.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make him cup tied. He's fine. We've got it in the thing coming up, but he's fine to play in the Champions League if he did play tomorrow.
There you go. And Colin X is back in here. Noswaith Dida, which means good evening in Welsh. Noswaith Dida. I hope I've got that right, mate. Thanks for joining. See, I just make a fool of myself when I come in here. I don't know why I do it to myself. Right, so let's get out the slides. Well, that was our thumbnail yesterday. Is the deal really sealed now? Well, actually, we'll bring that one up in a minute. We'll bring that one up in a minute. The latest is that actually, Frank, do you want to take the mic on this one?
Yeah. It's basically that he's trained as normal, as expected. Saw the clips today of Gary Cotterill disturbing him and being a nuisance at their Palace training, which he kind of got the ump with, I think, after a while, probably rightly so. But basically, Glasner said he expects it will play tomorrow. There's no change in that, as he would say. And then, other than that, he's not cup tied, so nothing really, as much as it's a big headline from Football London, whatever, nothing's probably really changed. You know, why he's a Palace player, he's still expected to play tomorrow. So I would suggest he probably won't play tomorrow, because I think if it is as close as everyone seems to say, I think Spurs will be massively disappointed if he was to play tomorrow in a game that Palace should probably win without him.
Yeah. So are we all going to lose our heads massively based on this news? If Eze is starting, is the whole of Spurs Twitter and social media just going to lose their mind?
I think it's looking like it's going to happen now. Either way, I mean, him starting tomorrow. Glasner is very, very adamant that it's going to happen. Doesn't seem to be much noise saying that we're going to get the deal done tonight or tomorrow. So I think you can almost certainly count on him starting tomorrow or playing tomorrow anyway, featuring, which is unfortunate. I think the real shame is what Frank was saying, that apparently this team that they're playing against are, nothing special at all. I mean, obviously it's a conference qualifier. And we know the standard of the teams in the conference is generally poor anyway. Palace are they're technically a Europa League side for all intents and purposes. And apparently Fredrikstad have only been professional for 5 years. So I think Palace are putting too much emphasis on Eze. I think they'd smashed this team comfortably with or without Eze. So it's a bit disappointing for me.
Interesting, mate. Interesting. Yeah, it is. Who are they playing? Fredrikstad.
Yeah.
Fredrikstad. Fred Stad in the comments. There you go. I respect Eze's character a lot, but it's making me nervous. Abdul.
Why do we always go for these characters that are too good, innit? No one wants to go on strike to join us. That's what we need. We need people to start going on strike.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. What else have we got in here? Just trying to get through the comments. Guys, get your comments in. There's 200 of you now, so already after 5 minutes. Amazing support. Abdul was saying, what if he gets injured? What if I win the lottery? Let's not even hope. Let's not even think about that. Comments coming in thick and fast. Blimey. Ryan saying, typical Tottenham drag out a one-horse race for another player with a release clause is an absolute joke. There's a bomber on Eze deal. Check Craig Hope tweet. I mean...
That's the Richarlison one.
That's Daily Mail.
Oh, right. But he's saying it's on the Eze, so it's part of Richarlison, right. Palace of Forest on Saturday. That would be a bloodbath. Get him signed before that. Terry writes in here saying, "Good evening, gents. Good evening, Terry. How are you doing, mate?" M is saying apparently Spurs want Visser and Richie going to replace Craig. Hope just posted it. Do we trust Craig Hope, guys? Billy, is he a good one to trust? I'm not sure.
I wouldn't say he's particularly reliable, so no, not particularly. I'd be very surprised if we sold Richarlison after the start of the season at this point, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'd be
I
very
don't believe
surprised.
it. Completely agree, mate. Yeah, why would you sell Prime R9? Richie Noise gathering pace, boys. Is this sorry, guys, if I'm behind on this? Is this Hope guy? Is he Daily Mail, Frank?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing is, maybe it is going to gain noise, and maybe as Billy said, I don't. 3 weeks ago, I maybe could have said that he could have gone, but I don't see a world now. After the start he's had to the season, he was pretty good against PSG, and I'm not his biggest fan in the world, but he started pretty well, and so I'd be pretty surprised if they got rid of him now, and unless they have a replacement ready who they think is better. But knowing Tottenham, they probably don't, so I'd be surprised.
Okay, interesting. What tier is Craig Hope after what Frank's just told me? What, 4? No, I got 4 or 5. There you go. Anyway, AK Shegs is saying I only trust Billy T. Roy's also saying Billy, I'll have to fly to London and join the CFT strike if this Eze deal collapses.
Yeah, well, the way that it's going, mate, anything's on the table at the moment. So let's see, mate. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
Absolutely. Got Jack Morrissey back in here saying, is Visser really better than Richarlison? Oh, I'll tell you what, first engagement piece of the YouTube video today. I know you guys love the YouTube engagement pieces. Tell you what, Jack Morrissey has come up with basically a super chat. I know it's not a super chat, but if you do want to get a little opinion piece in, you want to do a super chat below, a little thanks button in the live chat for as cheap as 99p. It's cheaper than chips, guys. If you want to create an opinion piece, but we'll go with this one from Jack. Is Visser better than Richarlison? 1 for Visser, 2 for Richarlison in the comments. So number 1 for Visser, number 2 for Richarlison. Billy T, who's better, Visser or Richarlison?
I'm going for number 2, Richarlison. I'm thinking, if you asked me last season, I would say Visser is clearly the better player. But because Thomas Frank has now got his hands on Richarlison, I think Frank will do better with Richarlison than when he would with Visser. I think Richarlison's got some really good raw ingredients there for Frank to work with. We saw it in the first game. He's a pressing monster. So in this specific case, I'm going Richarlison. If you had asked me last season, I would have swapped them all day. But I've got a feeling Frank's going to do a bit of magic with Richarlison this year.
There you go, mate. There you go. Richarlison's better than Visser. You heard it here first. Get that tweeted out, Billy. Frank, what are you saying, mate, on that one?
I'm quite split. I really don't know. I mean,
no, you're lying. I know you want to say Visser. I know it. You just haven't got the minerals, mate.
The thing is, there's pros for both of them. I think Richarlison, as I said, every time you start a conversation with if he stays fit, it probably is a problem. But I think Richarlison would be a better asset as a player to Tottenham if they were both at their best. It's whether or not he can keep Richarlison fit and firing throughout the season. If he thinks that, I only said the other day about his plan to sort of bring him in and out and whatever and try and use him in that way. If that's the case, then yeah, I would probably rather have Richarlison, I think.
From one of Richarlison's biggest haters, by the way, Billy T. Frank is a Richarlison hater. Just to put that out there.
I think when I was last on here, I said we should sell him immediately, but
what difference one game makes?
Frank's got a plan for him. I can tell. Those two, that PSG game, the Burnley game, Frank's got a plan for him.
Love it. Anyway, let's get through the comments from the first engagement piece. I trust Billie Eilish. Interesting one. There's been some interesting comments. Keep whacking them in, guys. So who we've got for Richarlison? 1, 2. This is going to be hard to do. 3, 4. Got a Visser there. Visser. Oh, it's close. I reckon it's Visser, of course. I'll tell you what, that's split. That's split down the middle. I might have to do a poll instead. But let's move on. Interesting. Guys, keep whacking your comments in. 250 of you in the house now. Really, really mad numbers. Can you all please do me a massive favor? I've just refreshed the stream. There's like 20 likes. Please, can we get that up to 100 in quick time? Everyone do it. Free to do so. Subscribe if you're new. We're on the march to 4K. I think we need 100 subs, which is absolutely nuts. So I'd appreciate you guys doing that. Someone's asked me, can I run polls? I can. Do you know what? I need some moderators in here because I can't do 3 things at once. I can barely do 1 thing at once, honestly. So I need some moderators in here. So Jack, if you want to be a moderator, and the other thing is, I noticed you did a super chat, mate, which is super generous of you, starting off that super chat train. If anyone else wants to get a super chat in and get us discussing another topic, give us a little player battle to do. Get your super chats in and we'll bring them up on screen, and really appreciate that, Jack. That's very generous of you. MM saying new certain die Savio alternative. We'll talk about Savio alternatives as well. Guys, if I don't bring up your comment, it's because I haven't seen the comments go this nuts for a while. Really appreciate the support. Let's talk about just a little bit further on what we said. A potential Conference League appearance for Eze would not impact Tottenham when it comes to Eze playing for them in the Champions League. So, as confirmed, he can play in that qualifier on Thursday for Palace. We shouldn't all lose our head. He can still then play in the Champions League. So, absolutely no worries on that one. That's a great photo, by the way, Frank. Great choice there. Hopefully, it'll be lifting a trophy for Tottenham come the end of the season, hopefully. But I'm going to whack a question to Billy T, because I haven't got his thoughts on... Well, we talked about Eze last week, didn't we, Billy T? But this Eze stuff's really ramped up since. Who do you think Spurs need other than Eze for the rest of the window? And what rating would you give the window if we only signed Eze for the rest of the window out of 10?
If we only signed Eze for the rest of the window, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think Eze, Kudus, Palhinha, 3 brilliant transfers, 3 players that are going to really improve the first 11. It'd be a pretty decent window. I think the only slight problem with that is we've been promised a little bit more now. We've come too far with Savinho and some other links as well, that it would have a tinge of disappointment to it, where we kind of got like a 9 or 10 out of 10 window in our grasp. If we can get a left winger, especially I don't believe the Savinho deal is quite as dead as maybe some people are thinking online. I think sounds like Rodrigo's coming back into the picture today, according to a couple of things. It sounds like if we pay the money, it might still be a deal there. If we were to get Savinho and Eze, I think that would be a 9 or maybe a 9.5 out of 10. And those two at the centre back, that's a solid 10. Maybe even an 11 out of 10. So that's where we're at the moment. I think the centre back thing is going to drag on till the end of the window, because there haven't been any links in that for a couple of days now. But if we can get Eze and Savinho, that would be easily the best window of my lifetime, without a doubt.
100%, mate. And do you, going back to what you said about the centre backs, do you think we need, and I referred it to this as like, I feel like we haven't got that Jan Vertonghen type player, left-sided centre back. Well, could argue Van der Ven, but can play left back as well comfortably. And of course, Vertonghen did that very famously a number of times very well. Do you think we need a mould like that? And if so, which players have you got? Any players in mind potentially?
The only one, obviously the Hincapi one is the only one that I've known that can play both roles like that. I've also seen a couple of roles links to Nathan Collins at Brentford. I don't know too much about Collins. I don't even know if he's a left centre back or a right centre back, to be honest. I just saw that link today. But Hincapi, I know can definitely do both, and would cost about £60 million. That'd be a really exciting signing for sure. So I mean, if we do that and get one that can play left back and left centre back, that is absolutely perfect. I'm not massively worried about left back at the moment, because Spence has been absolutely brilliant there, and Udogie will come back from injury. That's 2 brilliant centre backs, and then you've got Van der Ven, who can play there sometimes. So if we can get a third body there that could also play centre back, that would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So that'd be brilliant.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, absolutely. I think Eze, Savinho, I think everyone will be comfortably saying 8s, 9s. In the chat, we've got people saying Eze window 7 out of 10. Eze and Savio / Elliot 8 out of 10. Eze, Guehi and Capier, Savio 9 out of 10. I think that's a pretty good breakdown, to be fair, Chris. Semenyo's perfect for Solanke and team. Partner with Kudus for Ghana, says Colin. Semenyo would be class. I don't think he's going anywhere though, mate. His contract's till 2030 now at Bournemouth. I very much doubt he's going anywhere. Darren Belverstone, you guys know I love looking at the profile pictures. What is that? Is that his dog? That might be his dog. Love that, mate. 7 out of 10. And Dickie's saying, smash the likes, people. Absolutely. How many we got now? 56, 260 watching. Surely we can get 100 likes, guys. Surely. Anyway, I'm only allowed 3 plugs an episode. I've rounded it up now, so it's 2 left. Well, arguably. Let's move on to talk about what's this point? Of course. So as per a lot of sources, this Eze deal hinges on Palace getting a replacement. And as per Alex Crook earlier, Palace have now apparently got a verbal agreement with Leicester for El Kanous, the number 10, all-in fee in excess of £30 million. And this would allow Eze to complete his move to Tottenham. Frank, I'm going to come to you. Do you think this is, well, this looks like positive news, mate, but I'm hearing also that they're still looking for other ones and they're not definitely set on El Kanous. Don't know how true that is, but what do you think of this, mate?
First things first, Alex Crook is not the most probably reliable journalist
is
in
he
the
a crook?
world. Yeah, pretty much. He's not the most reliable, so I'm a little bit skeptical. But he wasn't the only one that reported this. Sorry, I think this was just the one I found. I think in terms of Palace finding a replacement, by the way, on a Palace stream, it's a hell of a replacement for the price. I think he's a top player, El Kanous. But it's in our sort of side of the deal. This is obviously good news. I imagine that probably a lot of the hold up has been Palace trying to find their replacement and getting that sorted, and which I find a little bit mad that feels like they've kind of had to rush it, because it has felt like that Eze was probably going to leave this summer, whether that be to us or Arsenal or Newcastle, whoever. It felt like he was probably always going to go. So it feels a bit bizarre that Palace are sort of panicking to find that replacement. But yeah, I mean, for all parties, I think this seems like a pretty good deal. Palace make 25-30 million quid. They're bringing a good player in return. We get Eze in. He's happy. We're happy. It's all pretty good if it's true. As I say, I'm a little bit skeptical until some of the big lot are talking. But as of right now, a lot of the big lot haven't spoken. Fabrizio Romero, David Ornstein, a few of them haven't really said a lot in the last couple of days. Whether that's because nothing's going on, whether that is that because they don't know at all. I don't know. So I'm a little bit skeptical of things at the moment, but I think it feels like usually when it's very quiet, something is probably brewing.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, it's gone a little bit quiet. Billy T, are you getting more skeptical by the minute, or do you think this is positive news, the one on the screen, and do you think Palace have found their man in El Kanous? Do you think he really fits their mould?
I'm getting more skeptical by the minute, to be honest, mate. But I think he does look. He's actually one of the players that I thought we might look as an alternative when Morgan Gibbs-White fell through. I think he's statistically a very similar profile to Gibbs-White. A very good young player. I think that his age and his lack of experience probably wouldn't satiate the fan base at this stage. I think we would want a more household name like Eze. But I think statistically, probably like in the future, it could have been a really good deal for us. I think it'll be a brilliant deal for Palace, and it's the sort of deal that would, if they sign him, you can imagine someone like us or Chelsea or United going back in for him in a few years' time for like 50-60 million. So I think it'll be a good deal. I think Sasha Olivieri has just tweeted that there's no agreement in place between them at the moment, despite reports. Sasha Tavolieri, that guy, that seems to be popping up a lot at the moment. And I've seen that they're linked with a guy from Bruges and a guy and Dibbling as well. So yeah, still a bit of work to be done. I think there's quite a bit still up in the air, unfortunately, for this Eze deal. I don't think it's one of those things where we're as close as we maybe thought, to be honest.
I can tell you've got nervous in the last 23 minutes, mate. I think this is the most nervous I've ever seen you. You got big up Jacob. He's in here. Great channel, by the way. Go and check him out. Full of memes and comedy. If you guys want a funny channel to watch late at night in UK time, Jacob's your man. Eze to Arsenal links incoming. Please don't tell me that, Jacob. Please don't tell me that. Matt W saying that Richie Daily Mail story is a load of BS. And we've got, of course, we've got Donna Cullen back in the chat. Wagwan, Mr. Jacob. We've got Wagwan Donna, Mr. Billy, and Mr. Frank Thomas. Absolutely love it. Connor Lynch is saying Billy the Goat. You've got a lot of goat mentions in here, mate. There's another one there as well. Look at that.
Donna was watching us last time as well, wasn't she? Hello, Donna.
Not again. Feeling nervous about it. Yeah, as are we all. I'm getting more hesitant by the minute the more I read. Jack Morrissey saying don't want to be negative and hope is the strongest and most dangerous thing we have as Spurs supporters. But do not forget, Morgan Gibbs-White was done, and then we have the here we go. That's it. That's the problem. That is the problem. Right. I say that we ran out of slides. That is the latest. And what was it you were saying, Billy, on the Sasha Tavolieri one? What was the tweet from him?
He said that the El Cana deal to Palace is not as agreed as other people are reporting. There's still a bit to go yet, so a bit up in the air at the moment.
All right. Oh dear. Well, let's discuss this one actually. Chris Stone saying, "Look, man," and it's now another time for an engagement piece because we're talking about Eze. I'm sure we'll bring you some more before we go off air on Eze, of course. It's not just, we're not going to not talk about Eze. Of course, naturally we will anyway. But Savinho, of course, that's all died down. That's all gone very quiet. Billy mentioned Rodrigo's sort of been talked about again, but now I'm hearing stuff about Ademola Lookman, who of course used to play for Leicester, used to play for Everton, and has been sensational for Atalanta in the Serie A. I believe he scored a hat-trick, wasn't it, in the Europa League final?
He's 14th on the Ballon d'Or list last year as well.
On the Ballon d'Or list, there you go.
And by the way, Rodrigo is to Man City, by the way, not to us, but that would mean Savinho would come to us.
Of course, yeah.
Just to make that clear in case anyone thinks we're signing Rodrigo.
Yeah, I don't want people losing their head on that one. So my engagement piece is Lookman, because I've seen a lot of mixed opinions on him. Number one, if you want to sign Lookman over Savinho, and number two, if you want Savinho over Lookman. So 1 for Lookman, 2 for Savinho. I think it will be more towards the 2, but I'm not sure. Frank, what would you say, Lookman or Savinho?
Without a doubt, Savinho, I think. That's for a few reasons. I probably haven't seen enough of Lookman since he went to Italy. I don't watch enough Italian football, to be honest. Obviously, the Europa League final, and that probably sticks in a lot of people's minds. But the last we kind of saw of him in this country was he took that dreadful penalty for Fulham, I think, at West Ham, and that was it. Then he went, and so since then we've kind of not seen. I certainly haven't seen as much of him. And Savinho, he's 5-6 years younger, I think, as well. I think Savinho would be, yeah. I mean, I would take Ademola Lookman, of course, but yeah, Savinho would be my number one choice all day.
I think just looking at the comments, it's been about 20 replies. I've had one number one for Lookman, which is Abdulrahman. Sorry to name you Abdulrahman, because I think Lookman's decent, but I think Savinho, as per Chris, C-Max, Minch, Jacob, Ghosted, Colin, Archer, Steve, Simon. It's an absolute whitewash, guys. It's an absolute whitewash. So there you go. Savinho, Billy. Would you say that if we get him and Eze, how is our lineup looking? So for me, Savinho fits on the left, obviously. Eze in the 10.
Yeah.
Are you going Kudus right wing and then Solanke or Richarlison up front? Who fits the mold based on those players around them?
Based on what we've seen so far, I'm going Richarlison, but it's simply just because we don't quite know what's going on with Solanke's fitness, I think, and he was been in a bit of a rough patch in terms of goal scoring as well, even in pre-season when he was fit. He looked a little bit rusty, and he has done for the back end of last season too. So based on what we've seen so far, I'd go Richarlison. I think the interesting question would be, where does Sarr fit in? Because I don't see a world at the moment where Pat Matasar is not playing for Tottenham in the first 11. Like, he's been unbelievable. So I wonder if then the midfield would then become Eze, Sarr and Palhinha, or Eze, Sarr and someone else, because I know Sarr's been playing in the 10 in pre-season, played a little bit in the 10 versus PSG. I think Sarr's one of the first name on the team sheet at the moment. What do you guys think?
Go on, Frank.
Yeah, right now, yeah. Which I find amazing, really. And that's not maybe I doubted him a little bit. I think he's brilliant. But considering last year how brilliant Bergvall was, and Thomas Frank Love's energy and technically good players, and not Sarr isn't those, because he is both those things. But I kind of just didn't think that there'd be a world where Bergvall wouldn't play or wouldn't be straight in that team at the start of the season. But Sarr deserves it at the moment. He's looking like the player that we kind of think he should have been and should be. So yeah, I think right now he certainly is. Obviously with Thomas Frank, it tends to vary from game to game, doesn't it? So I would certainly be looking to start him on Saturday, though. Yeah.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Maybe we'll do a little lineup predictor for the City game. I think that would be an interesting thing to do. City game's only in 3 days' time. 12 o'clock kickoff, of course, early kickoff. We absolutely love it at the Etihad. But will we go to the 5 at the back? Who knows? I don't think that's confirmed. Actually, one for Bill. To be fair, Bill, do you reckon we'll go 5 at the back? We'll come onto the lineup in a minute. But just a quick thought from you. Do you think we'll go 5 at the back against City?
Yeah, I do, mate. Because I think it'll be a similar blueprint to the PSG game. Similar kind of attacking quality that we're going to face Man City. Obviously, there won't be lack of fitness like there was with PSG. So I'd be very surprised if we don't see 5 at the back against Man City on Saturday, personally. I think Dan's will come into the 11. I think it'll be a similar game plan to PSG as well. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. I'm a lot more confident for the Man City game now. I'm not confident in the fact I think we'll go and smash them or anything like that, like we did last season. But after that PSG game, seeing we can contain PSG gives me a little bit more confidence.
Okay, mate. Interesting. Danzo long throws back there. Now I saw you losing your head over that on Twitter against PSG this time last week, mate. It was a joy to watch, wasn't it? Really, those long throws. I can't remember the last time seeing something like that at Tottenham. Personally, I don't know about you, Bill, but I think that was many years ago when we saw long throw specialists over at Tottenham.
Mate.
What was that, sorry?
Yeah, 100%, mate. I was it's been weird because I sit on the front row in the south stand as well. I'm looking forward to being able to cheer like a Kevin Dancer. I just don't know how many home games that they're going to play 5 at the back for, because I don't know how many long throw 5 at the back times we're going to see it at White Hart Lane. So yeah, but this City game, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's set piece Tottenham are in full effect.
100%, mate. Set piece Tottenham. Right, let's bring this one up because Frank found this one earlier from Tottenham Muse, Hotspur Muse on Twitter. And this is an interesting one. Most chances created and dribbles for Tottenham in the Premier League since 2021-2022. You got Sonny in top with 393, absolutely clear of everyone other than Kulusevski. Was 360, just behind. But then you got Kane on 190 and Porro on 189. The main point to this is that Kane left 2 years ago. So does this suggest that we haven't been, Frank, I'll come to you first, that we haven't been creative in the last, 4 seasons, other than from Son and Kulu? I mean, Porro, obviously, pretty good numbers considering he's only been here since, 2023, I want to say. But, that is quite an extraordinary stat.
Yeah, it's pretty dismal viewing, actually. There's a bit of context in that time, bar and so the first 2 or 3 seasons that they obviously had managers who were slightly more negative, and so you probably were creating less on average. Sorry, there's a thing about Spurs Journo tweet in the thing that's taken. If someone wants to check that,
what's that, mate?
There's a comment about Spurs Journo put something out, so I imagine it's just thrown me off for a second. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Carry on. We'll have a look. Of course, we'll have a look.
Tottenham no longer the only club in the race for Eze. Snooze. It's basically going back to this, but I think it shows how, given that 3 of those this season, I mean, Kulu, I don't know when he's going to be back. It might. I would be staggered if we see Kulu at his sort of full fitness before the new year. So you've lost three of those, really. And so bringing in Kudus, bringing in Eze, hopefully, and then a Savinho type or whoever you go for would be seriously important, because then, you are actually replacing what you're losing. And we kind of sat there and we lost Maddison, obviously lost Kulu, Sonny went as well. And we sat there and it was like 60 contributions from last season or whatever it was. And we were sitting there sort of panicking, going, they're not replacing them. But I know that sort of Ange made the point of, you might be able to replace Kane's 30 goals a season, but you need to be able to replace it across the board. So this person chips in with 10, this person chips in with 10. And I think that's kind of what Thomas Frank's doing. And it goes the same for chances created and dribbles and things, that these numbers are going to skyrocket now with the likes of Kudus, hopefully Eze, and hopefully a Savinho. And so that's quite an exciting sort of positive thing.
100%, mate. Creativity should be flowing. Yeah, if we get at least 1 or 2 of those. I am going to start bringing up the ITK stuff because, we're feeding off scraps here. But, guys, just to say, like, some of the stuff we will bring on screen isn't necessarily tier 1. It's not even necessarily tier 2 or 3. It's just conversation starters, really, because there is some murmurs going round from Spurs Journo on Twitter. Who, Bill, I don't know, mate. You're better in the Twitter scene than me. Do you make it? Sorry, just before I carry on, this comment got me. Both deals are off. We're now speaking to Jordan Henderson.
Please,
Bill,
God, no.
what were you saying about Spurs? Yeah, sorry, Spurs Journo. Do you trust him or
I've
not?
seen the tweet, mate. He's sort of alluding to the fact that there's another interested party in Eze, I'm sure. Doesn't take a genius detective to work out who that's alluding to at this point. I think a lot of Spurs. The reason you said you're nervous earlier, I think the reason why I've been on a bit of a nervous one all day is as soon as that Havertz injury news came out, I got a feeling in my tummy that it's just, you can just imagine it, can't you? That Arsenal going to come back in from, and that's not even, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, is that Arsenal use him as a striker, but as is obviously more of a 10 than a striker. But I just had a bad feeling, and I hope if that is the case, which Spurs Journal is alluding to, that we just hurry up and get the deal done, man, because this is going to cause that. If that, let's talk big picture. If that does happen long term and Arsenal can sign Eze, it's going to be the meltdown of all meltdowns. So I'm not panicking just yet. I've just got a slight little nervous twitch in my tummy.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Listen, Spurs Journo, he's one of the ITKs along with a few that we've kind of been tapping into here and there. But I don't know, Frank. What's your thoughts on this, mate? Tottenham are no longer. It's not exactly. I wouldn't say it's mad news. Tottenham are no longer the only club in the race for Eberechi Eze. I mean, technically, there was, even if we have agreed the terms, there is other clubs looking at Eze anyway because of how good he is, right? Or Frank, are you a bit more concerned on this?
I kind of agree with you. I think that, a player of that quality is going to be, I think we were probably naive to think that we'd be the only club in that race, but it has felt like for the last week or two that we are the only club in that race. And so I guess, listen, whether it's the full truth or not that we have been the only club in the last week, that's everything that we've been led to believe. And so if it doesn't happen now and he does go elsewhere, there will just be total meltdown. And listen, rightly so, because you can only go off what we know. And so, I mean, it feels like we are probably the only one in the race for him. Feels like we're probably one of the only ones, if not the only one in the race for Savinho and whatever. But I think Spurs Journo is usually pretty good. I think he's usually one of the better ones. So it's not ideal. Well. Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's also not a shock because he's a player of his talent.
Cool. Sorry, Bill. Were you going to say something there, mate?
No. Yeah, he's someone that I don't think he strikes me as a bullshitter. So I would
no.
Yeah, he's been pretty close to this as a deal, I think, as it goes on. So be interested to see what happens. But I'm not panicking yet. I'm not panicking. Please tell everyone that I'm not panicking because I still think we're at a point where we just got to be a bit extra. Get it done. Come on, let's get it done tonight, please, Tottenham. Because if this happens, we've got the mother of all fan meltdowns in our grasp.
I know. Since the comment about Salah meltdown incoming, there's going to be all sorts of meltdowns incoming. Frank, where are you seeing the Bayern thing? Someone's just put about it.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me share my screen.
No worries. Jack Morrissey saying from Eze to Savinho to Canoes to Dibbling is Levy written all over it. Oh, surely, guys. Surely we're not going to fumble Eze. This could be generation. This could be generational. Go on, Frank.
There it is. It's again another sort of in the know. I think I want to say Spurs Zone's all right as well. I'm not that. There's a few that are pretty good, but he's not one that I usually follow. I don't think so.
Let's get a Billy T Twitter approval check on this one. Spurs Zone, Bill. Any idea?
I follow them. I don't know how reliable. I don't really have a reading on how reliable they are, but I definitely follow them. I read their stuff, so who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
Right. Yeah. Simon's saying you're panicking, Bill. I can just. Everyone's panicking. This is chaos. This is chaos. Before you continue, Frank, just quickly, we'll bring this back up. There is 300 plus of you in the live stream right now. Can't believe I'm talking to 300 people, human beings, live. Really appreciate all the support.
Could be witnessing 300 people witnessing a live meltdown. That's pretty good. Right?
There might be more soon. But anyway, yeah, live meltdown. We're all in it together. Please do me a massive favor. There's 90 likes on the stream. Let's get it to 150, please. Let's try and beat yesterday's, which was 200. So let's keep it going. Hit the likes, free to do so. That is pretty much all I'm asking you to do, as well as subscribe to the channel and ding, ding, turn on those noti bells. All three are free to do so. Subscribing, liking, and turning on the noti bells. We're going to be going live pretty much every single day. So when you see that noti bell, come and join us with the other 300 people, and we can keep bringing you this Spurs-related content. And as I said before, if you want to put in a super chat and skip the queue, because I know I haven't brought up like 80% of the comments today, that is nothing personal. I just cannot keep up with it. I put my chat up and you get a like. There you go. I cannot put all the comments up because I just cannot keep up. So I'm doing the engagement pieces. But if you want to skip the queue, we get the super chats up straight away. And if you want to create a talking point, a discussion, get our opinions, then put in your super chat for as cheap as 99p, and we can discuss that on the chat. But back over to Frank. That's not the one. Sorry. Yeah, that is. Sorry, Frank. You were on a roll talking about this buying stuff.
Yeah, I to be honest, I'm not. I just read something as well that Florian Plettenberg said this morning, who I know, Billy, you've had a good history with.
Save that for another podcast in itself. Yeah.
But he said this morning that there's nothing in the idea that Bayern want him. So I think basically nobody actually has a clue what's going on. Everyone's kind of contradicting each other, and everyone's probably trying to get the first bit of news just by guessing and hoping that they get it right, and then they look like some reliable journalists. So I don't think anyone really knows what's going on, as with always with Tottenham, to be honest.
Crumbs. Himothy looks like he's deactivated, or have I got that wrong?
He's changed his at.
Oh, he changed his at? Right, yeah. That's why.
Now Himothy reports.
Himothy reports. Yeah, it said the other one wasn't existing. I'm thinking another account in the mud like our one on Instagram. Nothing from him, if you pardon the pun. Any other insights in the nose, Frank? Any other? We're feeding off scraps here, and to be honest, the more we're feeding off scraps, the more worried I am, to be honest, because there's nothing from Fabrizio, there's nothing from David Ornstein. It's just a worry. James is saying exactly right, Frank. Mr. Wignall saying, Billy, go get your mate to find Parish and get him back in that room.
Yeah, so my mate, I'll show you right here. My mate works in Soho, and this morning, today of all days, can you believe it? Parish has literally walked past him in the street, which is unbelievable, isn't it, really? And he followed him around for like 5 minutes, trying to keep his distance. He was on the phone and angry, as all my mate said. So right, and then he realised he was being a bit weird, so went back to work.
We just followed him around the high street. I saw that one.
Soho. So I'm going to get my mate to go around there and knock on the window, see what's going on. Come on.
What shop did he come out of? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. It's a little white bag, so it looks like he might have been spending some mezzo money in there. So who knows?
He's been shopping at Gucci, mate.
What are the chances of that, though? Seeing Steve Parish today of all days, just crazy. My mate's a Spurs fan as well, so it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I actually messaged that guy because I was like, mate, is this actually serious or is this an old photo? And
he showed me. Yeah, a few people messaged me that as well, saying there's no way that's just happened. It's like, as if I would make it like what? How sad would I have to be to? I know it's ridiculous. It's happened in the middle of an actual transfer, when a transfer story involving Parish, but I'm not that sad. I'm not that sad. Twitter. I'm not going to make it up and make fake text and all that stuff.
Oh dear, it's all fun and games at Tottenham. I mean, it really. How in 24 hours has my mood suddenly changed? Guys, if you have to put a percentage on it yesterday, you'd put like 90% Eze's done, right?
I've got up to 95. Yesterday, I'd have gone up to like 90, 98.
Right, but now what's your percentage, Bill?
75.
Frank, what's yours? What's your percentage? Guys, put in your new engagement piece, put in your percentage on how confident you are of this deal happening. I'm actually so interested. Put your percentage: 50%, 0%, 100%. What do you think, Frank? Where are you going?
If it was any other club trying to buy him, I'd say probably 75 or 80. Given that it's us, I'm probably at about 30, just because it's us, and I know all too well how we roll.
Can I just say something? I've got to run, guys, but can I just say it was really funny, right? You know, when Fabrizio said he thinks the deal is 85% chance of happening. If you actually think of what that means, right? So it's going to happen 85 times out of 100. But Spurs fans were absolutely terrified, weren't they? It's like, that's how mental that we are as a fan base. Like 85% happens 85 times out of 100, and we're absolutely messing around with our mental health. But come on, I know this. What is this transfer doing to us all?
Unbelievable. Concluding thoughts then, Bill, because I know you have to go, mate. No problem at all. I really appreciate you coming on for today's live. What are you looking for the rest of the window at a minimum? Is it Eze or is it, you know,
after what's been happening since we've been on the stream, I'll take Eze and nothing else at this point. That's what I want. But if we get Eze, left wing, centre back, job's done. Happy days, mate. That's what I want. But right this second, I'm just Eze or nothing.
Yeah, Eze or nothing. New series, mate. No, like I said, mate, really appreciate you joining. Where can people find you if they don't use Twitter, the well-known app? Where do people find you, mate?
Yeah, just _T on Twitter and TikTok as well. But I'll look forward. It's been a real pleasure to speak to you guys. Good to be on with Frank for the first time as well, and hopefully first of many, guys.
Yeah, cheers, mate. We'll get you on very, very soon, guys. Go and check out Billy's Twitter and TikTok, and we'll see you soon, Bill. See you later, mate. Cheers. Right. You've got something else to share, Frank. You're telling me. What have you got to share?
1 second. Let me get this.
While you're doing that, I'm going to get I'm going to catch up on chat. The percentages. Jack's going 50%. Hit the bar's gone 50%. Great name, by the way. What's your profile picture? Oh, that looks like what beer do you reckon that is? I can't even see it. It looks like a good beer. Lookman wants to join Spurs. Where are you seeing that, Raddy? 60. 60 says Jack. Big up, Jack. Shankel's saying 50, 25 for Ryan, 50 for Paul. Simon's telling me to get Brian Daigle on. I think someone needs to check in on him, see if he's all right. I hope Brian's doing well if he is watching. We don't want a Brian Daigle meltdown on this. We really don't. Chris Stone, 12.5%. Wow, that's low. 100% they want him for Thursday. Then I think it's done. I think actually maybe 20%. Round table going 90. Marinakis has Parish at gunpoint. Eze deal in danger. Ho hi, says Gary Becks. James is saying 100%. I'm going for injury prone, is Andy. Andy's going 35. Very specific. With Levy, Jamie thinks 0. Terry's saying 100 with the emoji. Very confident. Levy penny pinching, gonna come back to bite him. 100%. This deal isn't happening. Crumbs. Anyway, guys, keep getting your comments in. Let's keep smashing the like button. How many likes we got now, Frank? How many likes? 115, is it? 115? 117, guys. 300 of you in the house. That should be 150 minimum. And keep turning your notification bells on and subscribing. Really enjoying being live tonight. But Frank, you got something to share for the 300 watching? What have you got?
Yeah, it's not sort of major breaking news. It's kind of linked to this thing again. But Sky Sports are now reporting the Eze, Richarlison, Johan Visser deal. I'm not sure if that's so. Yeah, I'll zoom in a little bit.
That's
anyway.
fine. I've just zoomed in.
But yeah, so that's kind of being reported now by Sky Sports as well. Not that Sky Sports again are the most trustworthy of journalists, I find, and you know, as a media group, they aren't the most trustworthy transfer wise. The nickname of sort of Slow Sports News for a reason. But yeah, it wouldn't be the greatest shock in the world to me if they did go for this, but I would have said that 3 weeks ago. Now I'm a little bit more confused why this would be something, because Richarlison's obviously someone that Thomas Frank's obviously quite doesn't mind, certainly, or wants to maybe give him a go. And I don't think that this would be the sort of deal that Tottenham would do, personally, or Daniel Levy would do. We signed him for £60 million, and we're talking about giving him as part of a deal. I know it saves some money, but giving him as part of a deal and bringing in a 28, 29-year-old as a replacement. I know Thomas Frank might like him or whatever, but that doesn't feel like a Daniel Levy sort of deal. It feels very, very unlike Tottenham. So I'm quite, especially in how we're going recently, where everyone we sign seems to be under the age of 20. or a big chunk of those that we sign. So yeah, I'm a little skeptical of this still. As I say, that if something big breaks, then we'll go for that. But for now, that's the latest on that.
Interesting, mate. Interesting. A few good comments coming in. Do you know what though, mate? I get it's an update, but also Sky Sports, Keith. I mean, how much do we trust Sky Sports these days? You know,
was it Keith? I think it was Keith Downey. I could be wrong. I think it was him that fell out with Mark Goldbridge on Twitter the other day.
Right.
And he shut him up because Goldbridge said the same thing. He said, "Of course, why would we trust a man called Keith?" And then the deal ended up happening, I think. So I think we've got to be a little bit careful with what we say. I don't want Keith Downey clipping me up and putting me on his Twitter this week. But,
oh no, mate, for sure. I'm not for 1 minute saying Sky Sports Keith are unreliable. I'm just saying, you know, in the tier system that we use,
yeah, of course,
not tier one.
Right.
So I've got to be honest, you know. But there we go. We'll bring you all the latest. We're going to be live for another 20 minutes, maybe just under. But if anything else comes out, then we will, of course, let you know. What have we got here? This is from Craig Hope. Is this the one Tottenham are considering offering Charlton as part of the deal? I just don't believe it. I don't honestly think with Richarlison's start to the season, surely we're keeping him about, Frank. Surely we're keeping him about. Another engagement piece. You guys love it. One, to keep Richarlison, number one. Number two, to sell Richarlison. Even based on his whole Tottenham career, not just the weekend, everyone's very reactionary. You know, even me saying that he's Richarlison in a World Cup year is Ronaldo 9. Obviously, I'm joking, but you know he has started off really well, played well against PSG. It's got to be said. What do you reckon, Frank? Are you going number one to keep him or number two? Because I know you don't. I know you don't like him.
I really don't know. If Thomas Frank wants him and wants to keep him, then I will back him for now. I think in the long term, we can find someone better. If they can't find an upgrade on him now, they need to keep him fit somehow. If they can't keep him fit, and then I want him gone. But if they think they can find ways to keep him fit and adjust his game time, things like that, and use him as the asset that he can be, then yeah, I would be okay with him staying for certainly the next year. Just quickly as well, I've just found Keith Downey's tweet where he said Tottenham are looking to potentially include Richarlison in a deal for Eze, which would free up space to try and sign Johan Visser. Visser still wants to join Newcastle, who had a bid rejected of 40 million today. Richarlison also wants to stay at Tottenham, and Palace don't want a player; they want straight cash for Eze. So it feels like none of those parts in that deal are actually ones that probably will happen. So yeah, I'm a little bit confused by that whole report, to be honest.
Interesting. Obviously, we know that the Newcastle stuff sort of not going well for them to get Visser, so no clue what will happen on that basis. Frank's had one good game. Shall we sell him? Right. Gary Beck's saying you don't just sell Richie just to get Visser. And there was another one I was going to bring up. Mr. Vignal, I thought we were haggling over minor add-ons. This suggests we are nowhere near a deal. I just don't think anyone knows. Like yesterday, we all went a bit early with the Paul O'Keefe tweet. Since then, do you know what? I feel like there's going to be another twist tonight, guys. I'm going to say it. I think there's another twist tonight. I think we're going to get. We've got to have a Fabrizio. We've got to have a Fabrizio tweet, surely. What do you think, Frank? Right. What we're going to do is Jessica's saying I'd send them Solanke. Oh, you've that might cause a stir, Jess. I've got to be honest. Wayne is saying too he won't stay fit. Actually, I'm not just forcing these engagement pieces. I genuinely am interested here. Do you guys think for the Man City game you start Richarlison or Solanke, both fully fit? You assume Solanke's fully fit now as well. I think he's going to have to start Richarlison, right, Frank? But based on the last year, what you've seen of Solanke in a Tottenham shirt and what you've seen in a Richarlison in a Tottenham shirt, bearing in mind injuries from both of them, who are you starting? Are you starting Richarlison or Solanke? Because Frank, it's kind of a difficult one. I think Richie will start because of his form. But I think there is the argument that if Solanke gets up and running, he's impressed in training or whatever, and maybe Richie doesn't have a good game against Man City, is Solanke then back in the fold, do you think?
If I was in charge, which I almost am, then I would start.
You're just the wrong way around, mate.
Exactly. I would start Solanke without a shadow of a doubt. If he's fit, if he's fully fit. And that's nothing against Richarlison. He played well the other day. The prospect of playing Burnley is a lot different to playing Manchester City, first and foremost. I don't know he was decent against PSG, but he was decent. It never felt maybe I'm wrong, maybe I look at it in through negative glasses, but I would love to know if people really sat there and watched that PSG game and felt like did people really believe that Richarlison was going to score that night?
No,
that's the thing. He was quite unlucky with that one that took deflection, but it never felt like he was gonna score a goal that night. He was holding the ball up and doing that sort of stuff quite well. But Solanke does that job. But I also think if you give Solanke chances, I mean, we saw him. He scored at Anfield last year. He didn't score at City last year, but he got the assist for the Porro goal, and he was immense that night. Yes, maybe because he hasn't really played under Frank yet. I would be a little bit sceptical. If they were both fully fit and we were going into the first game of the season, I would have started Solanke. But I thought Solanke looked pretty good actually when he came on against Burnley the other day. I know we were 2 or 3 up, but whatever. And I know Richarlison obviously bagged 2, but I'd start Solanke if they're both fully fit, and I think that should maintain throughout the season really. But that's also coming from someone that, as we've established, isn't Richarlison's biggest fan.
I don't know, mate. I asked you a question earlier with Billy T here, and you said keep Richarlison. So that's all I'm going to say. You've changed your tune. Ghost is saying Solanke and Richie are both on the same level, average. Jessica's saying thing is there isn't really a striker I'd want now. Moani wants Juventus. I'm not sure what's happening on that one. Andy's saying you cannot drop Richie if he is fit and he's played games. Richie is better than Solanke, says Big Mender. Looks like a new sub, Big Mender. Hope you're doing well. A lot of new faces. Ghosted. I think I saw you yesterday. A lot of new faces. Really appreciate all the support, guys. 260 in the house. If you haven't subscribed and hit that like button, please do subscribe and hit that like button before you jump off. But we're going to do a final bit of the show now, and we're going to predict the lineup for the Man City game. And this is a chance for you guys to get your thoughts in. And if you do want to stop us at any point and create a new talking point, as I said, that super chat option is available. And one thing I actually didn't mention was that we have membership options available. And I say options, you can just do the lowest tier. And if you go into the description down below, whether you're on mobile or whether you're on the web app, you can go into the top of our description. It says join as a Spurs-related member. We have no members right now. I believe I'm right in saying, Frank. And we want to do our hope and our thoughts are that we want to do a members only show where you guys come on this stream. If that suits you, you pay £1 a month or $1.99 a month, and you can literally come on, give us your thoughts after games, give us your match reactions, maybe a few minutes about Eze. You want to come and have your view. We'll do shows on transfers. We'll do shows on match reviews for you guys to come. So if you want to join as a Spurs-related member, there's 300 of you in the house. Maybe you'll get a few in today. It's in the description below. And obviously, you guys get a shout out and everything else. So please do support the channel. But Frank, I know you want to discuss, well, we're going to discuss the potential lineup for the Manchester City game. And I can see you've already molded it as a 5 at the back. What do people think? And Frank, trying to take us through what you're thinking there.
Yeah, this is literally the team we play against PSG. So I can switch bits up and change bits up. Obviously, we spoke about Richarlison, Solanke. I'm not sure. I think it will be a similar sort of structure. They might, if they're feeling brave enough to do so, play a Johnson or Audibert or Tell or whatever. But this worked pretty well. I would be very surprised if the back 5 doesn't come back in again. I think we looked fluid with it. I think we create quite a few chances with it. I think we were very good actually. And one thing I'll sort of point out a little bit is the role we saw sort of with Kevin Danso, and it could be quite a threat for City. I think that so often in what we were doing, Danso ended up becoming the right back when we were building up, and so we build up like that. And Porro was almost part of the front 3, and then you'd have Spence pushing up here or whatever. And because Paulinho just occupies that space and doesn't move, you've always got cover. So you've always got your back 3, which shifts across, and your Paulinho. So it gives freedom to Bentancur, it gives freedom to Pape Sarr. And Porro, I didn't think he was great against Burnley, but he's dangerous in this area here. Once you get him in these zones, a bit like Eriksen used to be, you know he's probably going to put a ball into an area that is threatening. And listen, I've said whether I like him or not, Richarlison's movement in the box is pretty good, actually. So if you can find Richarlison, he's a threat. He throws himself about, he wins headers, he's tough, he can do that. Kudus, we've seen as well, getting in areas around here. We saw him get 2 crosses on Saturday. Pape Sarr loves a late run into the box. And so playing that back 5 gives freedom to your 2 midfielders and to Porro, who's probably one of the better creators in that team. If you look at that team as a lineup, Kudus and Porro are probably your best attacking threats that are going to create for Richarlison. Sarr can do it, Bentancur can do it, but Porro, we know what Porro can do. I mean, we saw the dribbling and crossing or whatever the numbers were earlier on. Dribbling created chances, sorry. So he can do that very well. Kudus, we've seen already, can create things and be a pest. So I think they'll play a 5. I'd be surprised if not, given that City as well. Depends what sort of City you were playing, because given that City were, we saw City the other day against Wolves, they look brilliant. So they look like they're going to be a threat. I also think as well, I mean, Tijani Reinders look brilliant, but he's not Rodri, and they don't have Rodri still. So whatever their midfield 3 is going to be, I think that midfield, like they did with PSG, they can overrun that City midfield. And that gives me hope that we can get something out of this game, because that's why I think these 2 are going to be so important. And then after 60 minutes, when you've knackered Pape Sarr out or you've knackered Bentancur out, you've got Lucas Bergvall. And that's a hell of a replacement to have. Or vice versa, maybe they switch one up and change it, because I thought Bergvall was good the other day. But Paulinho is going to be really important, because he's going to have to sit in that role and not move. But yeah, the other 2 are going to have freedom to just run. And as I say, Reinders is someone that likes to get forward. I think if I look at, one second, I just want to get their lineup up, City's from Saturday. 1 second, here it is. So on Saturday, they had Bernardo Silva, Tijani Reinders, and Nico Gonzalez in midfield. That's a really attacking midfield 3. Bernardo Silva gets in those areas, sort of in and around, running in late into the box. So does Tijani Reinders. So Nico Gonzalez, it's almost at times probably going to be a one-man midfield. And so if you've got, he looks brilliant and he looks like a really top player, but he's Reinders is, but he looks attacking. He's going to try and get forward. He's going to try and hurt you, which is okay if you've got a back 5, because we've got that cover. Plus Paulinho, you've almost got a back 6 where you're defending when you're in this shape. And then you know that Kudus is going to be big enough, tough enough, strong enough to get the ball and drive. And Richarlison can lay it off and get into those areas. So I think these 2 are going to be really important if we end up getting a result on Saturday. Just because I think that midfield can be overrun. I think you can run through Manchester City now, especially without Rodri. We saw it last year. I mean, whether we disregard what Ange does sometimes, or Ange did sometimes, there were times last year where he was certainly that City game, we were tactically very good in that we knew they had chances, City, but we were without Romero, we were without Mickey van der Ven. Vicario broke his ankle 50 minutes in or whatever. We were with it was a relatively depleted side in that respect. And they went there and they sat, as we often do at Manchester City, and then they overrun them. And because they had no Rodri, they were able to be overrun more than ever. And without Rodri still, that could be the case. So you need your back 3 to be on it. You need them to be, sharp and focused, because obviously Haaland is a monster and they've got a lot of threat. And so you're kind of always under siege when you play Manchester City, it feels like. But when you get the ball, when you get sort of Romero gets it in these areas, he's going to have a lot of balls that he can play out, whether it be out to Spence making that run or Porro making the run or Kudus. There's going to be a lot of options that you can overrun Manchester City. And so I think it's going to be a really interesting game.
Yeah, no, all good points, mate, for sure. And interesting point about, Rodri not being available. I don't even know when he's back, but he's definitely a key miss for them. I think one thing I would ask you is, if we start losing and then Frank puts it to a 4 at the back, what do you think happens? Who comes off? You'd imagine probably Danso. Is it Johnson that then comes on? Is it Odebear? Who comes on? Is it Tell? What happens then? Solanke?
I think ultimately it depends on the sort of how the game's going. that if Spurs are struggling to really create chances in this way, then I would look. Danso probably comes off, and he changes for Tell or Odobert, right? So that's because they can create, right? If not, if Spurs are creating enough chances, but they're not falling to someone at the back post, or they're not, then Brennan Johnson could end up being a really important part of this on Saturday. As we kind of saw the other day, that he took his chance unbelievably well. Only got one chance really in the game, took it very well. So ultimately, it depends on Tottenham's foothold in the game. It depends on the lead that City have, if it's just the 1-goal lead or whatever. I think that Brennan Johnson will probably be his first port of call as an attacking sub, and Dom Solanke as well, or Richarlison, out of those two, whoever doesn't play. And then I think Bergwijn will probably be the first port of call for a midfielder.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely, guys. Let us know if you agree with what Frank's saying here. Would you think 5 at the back is what we'll go for on Saturday, or do you think that's too negative? Let us know in the comments below. 5 at the back or too negative, or my final thing I wanted to talk about was I say final thing, but what do you think is our chances of winning? Because if you look at our head-to-head against Man City, it's very promising. We've had a lot of joy over there. It's now time for, I say score predictions, but people will say it depends if Eze's involved, if it depends if we got another player, involved, or because that can still happen. We want Eze for the Saturday game against Man City. I don't know what the cutoff is. Frank, I believe it must be like Thursday or maybe Friday, but
it's lunchtime Friday, I think.
So we haven't got long. We have not got long. It's interesting. But based on our current team, Frank, what was your score prediction be for this one, mate? What do you think? Do you think we can get one over City, or do you think they're too strong with a 4-0 win against Wolves away on Sunday they got?
I think they look good. I think they look really good. And I kind of worry with them a little bit. Like we kind of know PSG went brilliant, but because they played in that Club World Cup, they're probably almost at a peak fitness, or maybe they're unbelievably tired. It kind of goes both ways. So I think we will. I think it goes one of two ways. It sounds really obvious. I think if we lose it, we'll lose it really. It'll be a really narrow game. It'll be a 3-2 or something, or a 4-3 even. There'll be goals. I think we'll score goals. I'm not sure if we'll concede as many. So maybe a 3-2 or a 2-1. It'll be a tight game. Having said that, I think if we win, we could win it in style, like we did last year. So I don't think we'd go there and win it 1-0. I think City.
Didn't we win 4-0 there last year?
Yeah.
4-0.
Yeah. So I think you can go there and you can hurt them. So I think if we lose it, I don't see it being a draw. I think if we lose it, we'll lose it really narrowly and it'll be a 3-2 or something. I think if we win it, we could win it pretty comfortably, actually.
Interesting. Guys, get your score predictions in the comments. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what people are saying so far. Hit the bar saying 2-2. Frank, you didn't even give me a score prediction. You just went, could happen, this could happen, that could happen.
I'll go 3-1 Tottenham then. I'll be positive.
I like that. I'm going to go 2-1. I think we'll narrowly win 2-1. Chris Stone, very negative, Chris. No, I got to say, you put in a lot of good comments. 4-1 City. 3-1. Why is everyone going City win? Is that we underestimate our ability at the Etihad? They fear play. Their fans fear playing us because we've got one of the best records there in recent years. It really has to be said. Archer 2-1 City. 1-0 Spurs. Here we go. It's better. I think both teams will score. Personally, I think it might be a goal fest. I want to say 3-2. I want to say 3-2 Spurs. We've seen that. You remember when Kane got that last minute winner? That was insane. When we turned that round. Jack saying I'd say 2-0 Spurs. Even got the double defense. Yes, I've got Porro and Van der Ven. Who have you got? And guys, it reminds me actually. Fantasy football, I haven't put the link in, have I? I have not put the link in. I need to send it to myself again. Frank, what's your fantasy team saying in the way of Tottenham players, mate?
I've got two. I've got Mohamed Kudus, who did well for me the other day, and I've got Pedro Porro.
Kudus, Pedro Porro, not Van der Ven.
No, I think if Eze comes in, I will switch Kudus to Eze somehow because I think Eze will probably score and assist more than Kudus will over the course of the season. But for now, it's just those two.
Okay, guys, let us know if you play fantasy football, and I'm going to whack the league joining link into the chat. I mean, Frank might do this better than me, to be fair. I'm trying to find the link now. Here it is. I'm going to put that into the chat now. And if you guys want to join the Fantasy Football League, then you can do so with the link, which is just there. It's just coming through now. There it is. Fantasy.Premier League. All you need is the 5N9G72. So if you want to join the Fantasy League, let us know, get yourselves involved, and what I'll do is I'll pin that comment for you to then join. It's in the pinned comments now, guys, if you missed that one. Don't trust Frank's structure. And there's the code as well. Thanks, Frank. Chris saying if we sign Eze, Savio, Hincapié, and Clark Kent, I think we might win. See positives. What I was going to share actually was what we think City's lineup might look like, because obviously we've talked about the potentials and the head-to-heads, and the fact that we've got a decent record there. Let me just bring my screen into this, Frank. I'm just going to take your one out for a second. 1 second, guys. And I think it's important to have a look at this. Frank, if you just remove that. There we go. So, I mean, I think the ratings are based on the average performances to date would make sense. But this is where they're predicting the City lineup. James Trafford, did he play at the weekend?
Yeah, he did. So that is that is exactly the same as the Wolves game.
Yeah. Okay, so that's their Wolves lineup. 8 Nori, 7.6 he got. It's quite easy to read. 7.7 Rico Lewis. Journey Reindeers, 7.8. Did Oscar Bob play?
Yeah, he started.
Was he good?
I only saw the second half, but he looked decent. He looked pretty decent in that second half.
Haaland obviously got 2 goals, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be a threat. I'll probably still captain him on fantasy football, so that if he does do well, then I won't feel as upset.
What happened to Doku, mate? Because everyone's on greens over 7s, and then Doku got 6.3. Did he have a stinker, or was that just a bit harsh?
I don't really know. I feel like he probably just goes missing. I think that's kind of what it was. I actually can't really remember him unless he came off. It came off 66th minute. Yeah. I mean, whether or not he'll start, I mean, I would guess they might go Marmouche out there. I imagine knowing Spurs, they'll start Savinho and he'll score twice or lose. But in terms of our lineup there as well, I'd be very surprised if Paulinho doesn't start. Given that he left him out the other day as well, that I'd be very surprised if he doesn't start on Saturday. I think he's kind of these are the sort of games we bought Paulinho for. So to play these sort of games where you're gonna have to sit at times and you're gonna have to win tackles and you're gonna have to be horrible at times, but he hopefully will start and make an impact in that.
Absolutely, mate. Guys, let us know if you change anything in the lineup other than like Frank just said about Paulinho coming in for Bergvall and So you say sorry, Frank, I've already forgotten your lineup. So you're saying same back 5. You're saying Bentancur and Paulinho. Then you're saying Sarr in the 10.
Yeah, and then
Kudus right, left wing. Well, hopefully Eze, but maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you could, as I say, I'm kind of split. I would say either if you're going to play Bentancur or Sarr and Paulinho, I'd probably go Bentancur and Paulinho. I think they make a good sort of duo. Then you could argue that you leave out Pape Sarr and start with Kudus, one of the strikers, and then a left winger. And then you're saying to Manchester City that you can't just leave everyone forward because we're still gonna try and hurt you. I think but then on the flip side, if you play Paulinho, Sarr, and Bentancur, and then like this sort of lineup, that City will probably be more likely to then try and get at Tottenham, and then I think there will be gaps that Kudus, Pape Sarr, certainly it will be good at sort of exploiting those gaps. So yeah, I mean it'll be quite an interesting. It's quite a headache to have for Thomas Frank this week. But he's tactically astute enough that I expect he'll be able to get it sorted.
Absolutely, mate. Let's get some comments up. Bob's going to be a beast, says hit the bar. Chris Stone saying Rangers was their best player last weekend. He's an immense player. Vignal saying maybe they make a statement and stick in Savinho. Hopefully not. Paulinia's got to play. He says hit the bar. Yeah, Paulinia in for Bergval. I think everyone's agreeing. Hansy's going Benton going Paulinia. And Darren Fearon saying Man City still look poor at the back. Well, they kept a clean sheet, didn't they, Frank?
They did. I know that Wolves had some chances though. But yeah, I mean, maybe the idea is that with a slightly stronger attack against them, not the Wolves is, nothing against Wolves, but probably slightly stronger attack of ours, it might do them some damage. And the thing is, the way the City play, it's quite similar to the way that we played under Ange, just with a higher quality of player across the board. So chances are always going to be able to be had, I think, for an opposing team. If you play well enough and you sort of have a game plan that works, which I imagine Thomas Frank will do, and you work in that game plan well enough, then chances will come naturally. And so Spurs, I imagine that Tottenham will have 5 or 6, maybe more good chances on Saturday. If they take them, they could do a job on City like they did last year. But likewise, City will probably have a similar sort of amount. It will be about the back line being solid. I think our defensive line is probably a lot more solid than theirs is. So that gives me comfort as well. But yeah, I think it'll be that back 5.
And who do you think's going to be the one to watch for City? Is it Haaland? Is it Reindeers? As other people are saying, who do you think is going to be the main threat?
I mean, Haaland's the obvious one, and I think Rangers there'll be a lot of noise about him because of the game he had the other day. I'm always wary of Bernardo Silva because I think Bernardo Silva is just a good player and probably one that goes a little bit under the radar at times. So he always worries me. Oscar Bobb's a good player. I'm quite pleased with Jed Spence probably up against him if he starts at left back. I think that's probably quite a nice fit. So that right-hand side probably doesn't threaten or give me as much sort of panic as maybe the left side does. Ait-Nouri and Bernardo Silva, if sort of that's the way they're going to set up and whatever against Porro. I mean, Kudus works hard, but he's going to have to work twice as hard as usual. So
you're saying that this side's more of a threat? Yeah,
Doku maybe. It depends who starts. If Mamouche starts, for example, on that left-hand side, then that left-hand side will worry me because that is a strong left-hand side.
Doku, I don't think we're giving Doku enough credit here. I'll be honest. I think he's a difficult player to play against, and I think he's a real threat. He's actually very good one-on-one.
I'm not. The problem is with being on the podcast now is that everything I say, it's on the internet forever now. So the second that Doku scores against us on Saturday, I'm going to look very silly.
Welcome to the show, mate. It's part of it. We have to put our necks on the line, just like I said he's done yesterday, and now we could be in the mud. Someone's asking any update, I guess, on Eze. I haven't seen anything yet. We will bring it to you as soon as we see it. Kudos will keep them busy on that side to hit the bar. People might point at stress. What am I talking about? People might point at Stones. This is John Stones that has won everything. One of England's most important players the last decade. Wow. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player, to be fair, John Stones. But obviously, he's probably not the best he's ever been. You need 3 up top so you won't be outnumbered in the press, says Jamie. Good point. Do you agree with that, Frank?
What was that? Sorry, you need 3 up top. Yeah, I do kind of agree with that. That's why I'm kind of when we go live on, I think on Friday, I will probably have a better idea of it. I need to have a proper think because I'm very split about whether they should play 2 up front or 3 up front. I think it depends on the personnel, to be brutally honest. I think if Paulinho and Bentancur are that middle 2, you can almost play 3 up front. But given how we saw Danso sort of, as I say, shift into that right back role and Porro push up into a front 3, I think they can pick and choose on the day, which is a lovely problem to have.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Darren saying in capital letters, we are not good at sitting back like the Bayern game. In the latter stages of the PSG game, we look good and solid when the team presses. Fair point. Tyler's saying, hola, amigo. Tyler. Simo saying, why we offering Palace for Richarlison when he doesn't want to leave? Hopefully that one is lies. I don't know. I don't know on the complete concrete latest, but I have heard that Richarlison could be used as part of the deal. And again, I don't know how true that is, but take it with a pinch of salt. Reindeers is really going to play well. God's sake. Good one. Reindeers, if you're listening on audio, Reindeers is going to be playing well at Christmas. One of our followers has just put. I forgot to read out some of the score predictions. And guys, a little reminder that if you want to join our fantasy football league, it's in the pinned on YouTube. That is the code 5N9G72. There's 23 of you in the league. If you want to join it, we'll potentially put up a prize for the winner at the end of the season. Then get involved. Just saying 4-3-2-1, maybe back four. Then Sarr, Paulinho, Bentancur, Richie, Kudus behind Johnson or Tell. Use their pace with balls through and over. Could potentially work. I'd be interested to see what they go for. But we've read out some of these score predictions. 3-1, 4-1, 2-1 City. Then we've got 1-0 Spurs, 2-0 Spurs, 1-0 Spurs, 4-0 Spurs is Simo. Have we got any more score predictions? If you haven't put your score prediction in, put it in now. There they go. Hansi 1-0 as well. That joke alert. Brilliant. Frank, anything to add? Any main concerns? We'll take this off the screen now, put us back on. Any main concerns for the game? And are you still sticking with your, what did you say, 2-2-1? 3-1, you said 3-1.
3-1, yeah. I mean, can I just pull this comment up very quickly again? And I just want to sort of make a sort of counteracting point that Spurs actually sat back for a lot of that first half.
Why don't you demo it? Why don't you demo
pressing
it?
Yeah, let me get that up.
Demo it on the little tactics board. I'm a visual learner, Frank. I need to see it on the screen, mate. Here we go.
Here we go. Right. So what have I got? I'm missing Kevin Dance.
I'll bring this back up. So he's saying we're not good at sitting back like the Bayern game and the latter stages of the PSG game. We look good and solid when the team press. So you're trying to counteract. You counteracting the point here from Darren?
Yeah, a little bit. Not entirely, but a little bit. I mean, I agree. For Tottenham, this sort of system relies on pressing, and Thomas Frank wants you to be front-footed. He wants you to be proactive and try and win the ball back high and do that and sort of brought in those values, and he's trying to build on that. Brilliant. I'm all for that. But you can do it by playing this sort of way. That Spurs did it in that first half. A lot of the time, and they did it on Saturday as well. And I know they didn't play a 5, but they'd have a 2 there. Porro was always really high. Spencer was quite high. And because you've got Paulinho there, that Sarr was sort of in an area as well. Danso can shift, and you can press by playing a deeper line and by playing a 5. That is possible. But it also just gives you stability that if the press is beaten, which happens, that you aren't just going to be like last year, just so open that teams can score whenever they want. So I do get the point. But as I say, in that PSG game, I mean, we had in that first half, we had something like, one second, let me get the official number up just so I'm right, because I think I vaguely know. Stats, first half, yeah. Spurs in the first half against PSG lined up in exactly this way. Had 29% possession. Yeah, had 9 shots to Thingy's 4 and we're 1-0 up. It's PSG's 4 and we're 1-0 up. So the idea that they are sitting back because they're playing a 5 is probably something that I've said quite often. Playing a 3 and playing a 5 is very, very different. Maybe we're calling it a 5, but really, in truth, this is a 3. This is a 3 plus 1 in Paulinho, because you've got a 6 that in Paulinho that isn't like what we said last year about Bentancur, who likes to run around, and Gray likes to run around, and Bergvall, Sarr, these guys like to get around the pitch. Paulinho sits. He sits there and he does that job. So he almost is another centre half. So you can give Jed Spence freedom. You can give Pedro Porro freedom. And so you're playing a 3, technically, not a 5. And so in theory, you play a back 5, you're going to be defensive. It's going to be boring to watch. But I'm quite for playing back 5s more often than not, actually. I think it gives you stability. I think it allows Tottenham, who have wing backs that like to get forwards, the chance to get forward. And so as much as I agree that they need to be pressing, I think you can press in this way, as we did against PSG. I mean, as I say, when you look at Spurs had 29% possession in the first half, we were brilliant in that first half. We were brilliant because we pressed. We were brilliant because we won the ball high up. We were brilliant because we attacked well. But we only had 29% possession. Second half we had 22%. We did sit in a little bit more. I think we struggled more when we lost Paulinho. That's why I think he has to play. And we brought on Solanke and Matisse Tel. And Kudus came off, I think. And that was a problem, because then what you lost Paulinho, who was just sitting. Gray came on and hadn't really played that role in a while, and at that level, so was just sort of run around a bit. That's nothing on him. That's just he's young and he's learning. And then on the sort of the flip side, you had Mohamed Kudus, who was doing so well at keeping the ball up. He came off at 2-0, Kudus. He was keeping the ball really well, driving with it and working hard with it. You bring him off, Solanke comes on fine. He does that job, but he's not maybe fully fit. You've lost your outlet as well up front. And so we were only sitting back because, Tel and Solanke weren't holding the ball well enough. If you've got people up front that hold the ball well enough, like Mohamed Kudus does, then you can definitely sit back in quotation marks that, because you're not sitting back by playing a 5. You're sitting back at times. You've got to absorb pressure at times. You're playing Manchester City. They're one of the better teams in the world. There's no doubt about that. They don't have an off season, but they're a top side. So you've got to sit in to some respect at times, because you're playing away to a team who have won 3 of the last 4 titles. It's not going to be an easy game. But as long as you are brave enough when the ball is down the other end, and as long as you're brave enough when you get the ball and go, we're going to make the right decisions, we're going to get the ball into the best players, Mohamed Kudus, Richarlison, or the ones that can hurt you maybe is the other way of looking at it. Pedro Porro, Solanke if he's playing, Pape Sarr. Get the ball into these guys quickly, and that's what Romero does really well. Get them, and Paulinho I've noticed as well. Get it into him quickly, and then you can hurt City. So I think I get the point, but I think you can hurt City by playing a back 5 without it looking like you're being negative and boring.
I completely agree, mate. I think it makes complete sense, and your point about it almost being a 3, with very attacking players and on the widths with Porro and Spence, and you can then get one of the midfielders involved more, and even mid game you could take Bentancur or Paulinho off and put a more advanced midfielder in there, maybe a Bergvall. But then again, of course, we lack a number 10, which is part of the problem here, really, isn't it? It's part of the problem. And it's part of why we need Eberechi Eze, which has gone very quiet. But obviously, a few in the knows have put some updates on him. I just wanted to quickly wrap up on Eze and the latest, because I'm trying to find everything. Oh no, who said this? This could be generational. We could get clipped for life if this is true. Who's saying this, Spurs side chat? You can't be dropping stuff in the chat and then not giving it a source. Crumbs. I'll tell you what, if Frank, if Eze goes to Arsenal now, wow, it's gonna all kick off.
I've not seen anything. Yeah,
Sky Sports are saying Tottenham are looking to include Richarlison in a deal for Eberechi Eze. This would in turn free up striker space to try and sign Johan Wissa. It's all just nuts. I have an insider at Tottenham. We've got to do that. Got to do that jingle for the in the know like Sean does. Well, I get cooked as well. Interesting. I'm not saying you're wrong, mate, but I would like to see it from a more credible journalist for sure. I would argue that when Solanke and Tel, what's happened there? I would argue that when Solanke and Tel were told to sit back when they came on, we had no outlet like we had for the rest of the game. So for me, that was a tactical change, not just the subs that came on. Yeah.
That's not a bad point. I think naturally Kudus probably holds up the ball better than the other 3 in Richarlison, Solanke and Tel. Solanke can do it, but I just don't think he was fully fit either. I do agree to an extent, but I do think if Solanke had been fully fit, it would have maybe played out a little bit different at the end of that game.
Sure. No, all makes sense. I mean, sorry, I feel like I'm being a bit nervous now because we've been live for an hour and a half and I still haven't seen much on Eze. I even tweeted this morning saying, at 12 o'clock a.m. Night, guys. See you in a few hours for Eze Day. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear! I could be in the mud. We could all be in the mud. Really, we really could. But you know, guys, go on.
So I think you've just got to try and not let it. Just try and forget Tottenham exist until something actually happens. That's kind of my coping way. It's so difficult, but try and forget they exist until something actually happens, and then they do exist, and then we can all go mental about it at some point when it eventually, as it usually does. Ornstein, Arsenal move for Eze.
No, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen. No,
yeah, David Ornstein. Arsenal won't move for Eze. Tottenham lined up deal.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Is that actually?
Yeah.
Arsenal closing in Eberechi Eze. Arsenal make move. Oh, we got to stay live now, Frank. This is chaos.
The views are going to skyrocket now, aren't they?
I was about to sign off to say we need to. Oh no! Oh no! This is chaos. Right, we got to bring this up on screen. Then I thought this was a joke. It didn't even come up on my noties.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No. I should bring that up as well. He knows his stuff, doesn't he? He was right.
Fairs. Right. Firstly, apologies to Spurs side chat. Should have trusted you. Make sure you're DMing me on Twitter because we need your insider info for this YouTube channel. So yeah, Spurs side chat. Give me a little DM on Twitter at Spurs_related_. But this is absolutely terrible news. We need to bring this on screen, don't we, Frank? We need to bring this on screen. We are seriously, potentially in the mud here. I mean, how have we fumbled this? Oh my god, the Levy out stuff is just going to go nuts.
It's going to be in.
If this actually happens, right? So I'm just going to bring it up on screen. Frank, I think you just removed that. Here we go. This is the latest from David Ornstein. Arsenal make move for Eberechi Eze. This is 1 minute ago, exclusive, and 27-year-old wants them. Hang on a minute. How can you want Tottenham and Arsenal? You got to choose one, Eberechi. Sorry.
I guess you pick whoever pays you more money, don't you? And I imagine it's them.
Tottenham lined up the deal with CPFC today and player, but after the Havertz injury, and this is what some people call, by the way, Arsenal now closing in on the England international. This is like a nightmare, Frank, by the way. If he proceeds with choice, Tottenham will pursue other targets. I mean, how do we do it? How do we do it to ourselves? I mean, I said to you while we're live, something's going to happen. What did I say? I said there's going to be a twist in the tail. Not that. I mean, listen, we had Billy T in the background telling us a few things that we couldn't actually say on live, but that was one of them. Was that other clubs were talking to Eze, but now it's obviously come out that it's Arsenal. This is an absolute nightmare, Frank. This is an absolute nightmare. Who we got? So we got Hansi saying Levy. True. I will do. Cheers, Spurs side chat. Appreciate that. Give me a DM, like you said. Levy lag strikes again, says Archer. Not again, says hit the bar. Jacob saying he knew it. They got Levy out. Where the hell do we go from here? Desiree saying, "Oh my god, this is not fake. This is absolutely true. It is absolute carnage." Do you know what though, Frank? You know, I feel like there still could be. Maybe I'm just using copium here, but I feel like there still could be another twist because we had at the start of the window, it was Tottenham were talking. You know, Tottenham were linked. Then it was very much Arsenal were going for him. Then that cooled, if you remember, a few weeks ago. Then it came to Tottenham approaching the player and having a deal agreed, apparently, according to Paul O'Keefe yesterday. We all went and said, you know, this is going to happen. And now David Ornstein, 20th of August, 7:30 p.m. Arsenal make move for Eberechi Eze. 27-year-old wants them. I mean,
I want to make a point, and he's probably watching, that my dad will love the fact that I'm probably appreciating what he's saying on here. But he made a point about 2 weeks ago or whatever. And he said to me that I think when the Savinho news broke, and obviously this Eze news was kind of the same sort of time. And he said that it very much felt like there were protests lined up for the first game of the season and all this sort of noise. Very much felt like, and I think he's probably right, that they were putting noise out there to make to brush away all the negative stuff, get past the first home game of the season, and then we ain't going back there for 2 weeks. And so you can, they avoid the pressure, they avoid the noise. As I said, it's how they roll, Tottenham, isn't it? It's how they roll. And I think when we were on Sean's channel the other day, and Lubo said, that we can all get excited, but it ain't done yet. It ain't done yet, and it's not. It's
Hang on, mate. We got a Fabrizio update as well. Hang on a second. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. We've got a Fabrizio update. It's very much regurgitation, but I'm going to bring it to you guys anyway, because obviously everyone trusts Fabrizio, other than when he got the Gibbs White one wrong. But yeah, he's basically echoing it. So I'm just going to bring this on screen. I feel like I've been kicked in the teeth or something. Honestly, this is absolutely terrible. Arsenal have approached Crystal Palace today. This is Fabrizio Romano just now. Arsenal have approached Crystal Palace today to sign Eberechi Eze. Surprise move follows Kai Havertz's knee injury as Arsenal try to offer more to both player and Palace to win the race against Tottenham. And do you know what, Frank? I can see it happening, because this is like the Willian thing all over again, isn't it? Is it not? Maybe not quite as, done and dusted, the Eze thing, but, Willian was pretty much having his medical. But there it is, guys. Ben Jacobs just tweeted, we've had him on, Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, they've all gone in. And this is what, Billy T was on our channel earlier. He was on his phone half the time. That's why, because he had that knowledge. He had that insider info via a source, some sources he has, that it was other clubs approaching Eze. He did drop in my private chat in the background that it potentially could be Arsenal, and then bang. Unbelievable. I've seen the numbers just rise 100 people since this come out. I mean, wow! I was literally about to end the stream. Dan saying seems like I got to come on the pod again. Potentially. I mean, this is not good. I'll be honest. I was so excited for Eze, and now we are all in the mud. Guys, we're in the mud together. I've even tweeted out saying it's Eze Day. This is not good. I don't even want to open Twitter, Frank. Am I over exaggerating, or are we just like it's one player?
No, I think this is going to be as Billy said earlier on, probably the meltdown of all meltdowns. Because the thing is, we've had it before where we don't get players and whatever, and they go to other teams, and we sit there and go, we wish we had them. But it has felt like for the last 3 weeks, Tottenham had a clear run at Eze. Arsenal weren't going for him. There was a free run. We wanted him. It was all supposedly going so well that, and now all of a sudden, this is, it comes out that Arsenal, it goes to Arsenal of all clubs. I mean, it's, and I'm not going to sit here and it's nothing on Eze, and I know people will be annoyed at him or whatever. It is literally 0 on Eze. It's 0 on Crystal Palace. I don't have a problem with either of them. It is the way that we run. It's the way that we do things. And it's the reason that we've won one thing in the last 17 years. It's the reason that, certain coaches come and don't win. It's the reason we finished 17th last season. And it's the reason that whilst Daniel Levy is here, Tottenham are going to fail to be a consistently successful side. Because they are, as much good as they do for a business, they are absolutely disastrous owners of a football club. And so I hate to rant at times, but it feels that now is probably a fair time. And listen, I'm probably preaching what everyone is thinking anyway. And I've probably at times been a little bit more lenient to Daniel Levy than most, but the last couple of years, you sort of since that Champions League final, the way we've regressed and this and that. But I know we won in Bilbao and it was amazing, but that was largely down to we had some key players, I think, and the manager they brought into that a little bit, and they got it over the line, but they were the favourites to win that competition. That's the first time we've been favourites to win a competition in a very long time, and I'm not downplaying it, but it's true. That they were favourites to win it for a reason. They won it, great, it was brilliant, but we will never be a consistently successful side with Daniel Levy in charge. And I understand that you can't just go and spend significant money all of the time and go and spend 100 million here and there, because it's not sustainable. Aston Villa are not run sustainably. Aston Villa could well be skinting in the Championship in 3 or 4 years' time again. Crystal Palace aren't run that sustainably. Their wages to revenue, their revenue wages ratios and things are silly high. And so Tottenham are run as a business very well. They're run as a football club absolutely dreadfully. And it will not change until those at the top are changed themselves.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, a few comments. Why don't we match the money? And the other thing is, I mean, we don't know. We don't know half of it, right? He could have said
maybe it was a PR stunt the whole time.
What's that, mate?
Maybe it was a PR stunt the whole time. Maybe they didn't want him. Maybe maybe it was just as I say, as not to back my dad up again, because I don't want him to get his flowers too much on it. I don't want to be proved to be wrong, but as I say, he said to me that it could easily be a PR stunt that they're trying to just avoid the protest. And there's a comment there that they spent 4 weeks waiting on Gibbs White.
What are we doing though? What are we doing? Morgan Gibbs White was all wrapped up. It was literally done. We heard that Morgan Gibbs White, here we go. We heard that Morgan Gibbs White said sorry for the fact that it didn't go through. And obviously Forest then, paid him a ridiculous amount to stay. But with this Eze one, for me, there's no excuse, because what we can move on about Morgan Gibbs White. It's done. But with Eze, that was going to be our poster boy, our signing, everyone was so excited for it to happen. And this comment here, messing around over minor add-ons and acting too slow, is something that we have had before in the past. Now, whether that is the actual crux of the matter as to whether we lost Eberechi Eze to Arsenal is one thing, but we know for a fact that Daniel Levy and Steve Parish had meetings. There's absolutely no getting around that. That is a fact. And the fact that Fabrizio's reported that, David Ornstein's reported that, they had meetings even today, right? The fact that less than 24 hours later, Arsenal can come in and go, actually, we're going to have Eze. We're having some of that. We see Tottenham messing around. We're going to have some of that. It was all to do with, and I'm sure more will come out, the add-ons. The fact that we didn't give Steve Parish what he wanted, Arsenal probably coming and gone, you know what, we'll do that. It's only going to be like 5 to 10 million in add-ons. We want Eze. He's in his prime. He's 27 years old. He's going to serve us well for 3-4 years. We'll have some of that. We're going to make him, put him in our team. And now suddenly Arsenal have Eze, Odegaard, Saka, and Gyökeres. That is a good, insane, I'm going to say it. It's an insane front four. Now, what have we got, Frank? What have we got, mate? Because we now don't have a number 10.
We're stuck with the sides, and this is I'm not saying this depends on how good they are, but Matty's Tell, half the fan base are split on. Nobody really knows what he can offer. Wilson Odobert, I think he's a bright player we haven't seen enough of yet, so we don't really know what he can offer. Richarlison, we've all seen enough of, and I'm not going to rant about him now because I'm annoyed, but you got Solanke, you got Johnson, you got Kudus, who obviously looks like a top player. It's a pretty depleted front line, but we have the top lot to blame again. I don't blame Palace whatsoever. I know we sit there and go, they've pulled, they're annoyed about the add-ons and stuff. They set a price. They have something that Tottenham want. They have an asset that Tottenham want. They want the rights to. So Tottenham should be the ones that pay up. If they don't, you don't go into a shop and go, I really want that coat, and they go, it's 200, and you go, can I have it 140, and I'll pay over the next 3 years? They're just going to say no. If they've said a number of times they want 55 plus this add-ons, or 60 plus this add-ons, and this is all he's going for, then that's down to Spurs. And if they don't want to pay that, then fine, they should have backed out weeks ago. But stop, maybe Savinho, maybe that deal was fallen through. We don't know, but maybe it's fallen through. And if it has fallen through, maybe it's fallen through because City have genuinely just got the ump of Tottenham. They might have gone out and said, we want, the rumour was they want 80 million euros. That's what his agent said. That's what the rumour is. Spurs first bid 50 million euros. What's the point? Next bid 70 million euros. Do they think that he's going to go for cheaper? Because sometimes it might work, fine, but you will miss out on a far greater amount of players by acting that way, as we've seen in a number of times in history with Tottenham. Now, I don't know who they'll get. If they go and get Bilal El-Khanous, maybe, I'll be quite pleased with that. But it's going to be a major, major negative from where we were at literally 24 hours, 48 hours ago. I mean, when we went on...
But mate, to be honest with you, like El-Khanous, right? He might be a good player, but there's levels, right? And I'm not saying you don't agree with me. I know you do agree with me. Yeah. But El-Khanous isn't Eberechi Eze. Eberechi Eze is a proven professional in his prime. He's 27 years of age. He would literally come in and be one of our best players.
Agreed.
He's incredible for marketing. He works with Burberry. Not saying that's to tick another box, but he's a very marketable asset. He would sell millions of pounds worth of shirts. He comes in, he becomes our starting number 10, even if Maddison's back. He comes in and he could play on the left as well when we need support on the left. We were saying just an hour ago, if it's just Eze, it's brilliant because he's versatile, he's in his prime, and he's an insane, insane player. We can go over why it's happened, what has happened. This is a good point from Joe Goebel. I'm going to have to rein myself back in before I lose my head on it. So just imagine offering Richie to Palace to go after Eze and Visser, losing both players and having an unsettled Richarlison. This is another point. Because if Richarlison's going to be probably known, he's going to know about the fact that he was going to be used in a deal for getting his Visser or Eze. And now he's not even going to be leaving. So we've got Richarlison that's hit form. He's then potentially going out the door. He's probably thinking, why? We've now absolutely fumbled Eze. We've got an unsettled Richarlison. We've got no number 10 still. We've got 10 days left of the window. Guys, what the hell is what is going on? I've lost my head. Right. Frank, we need to now get Savinho. But then do we? I think we need a 10. We need a number 10.
We need a 10. And listen, I want Savinho. Savinho was the one I was more excited for out of the two if they got him. But they need a 10. They need a 10. If they went out and got El-Khanous of that type or something and Savinho, I would go, okay, I'm pretty content with that. But as I say, El-Khanous a month ago would have been a good signing. I think he's a top player and I'm quite excited by him. But if Daniel Levy thinks now that rocking up to Manchester City or the Bournemouth game the week after or whatever, that we've got those games before the international break, if he really believes that rocking up, let's say after the international break when the window's shut and we've signed El-Khanous and Eberechi Eze has gone to Arsenal. And so 1 second.
No worries. We don't need a 10. Sorry, Frank. Sorry, Frank. We don't need a 10. Rodney, we do need a 10, mate. Who's our number 10 at the moment? We don't have Maddison because he's injured for the whole season. We don't have Kulusevski because he's injured for another few months. Kudus playing mainly on the right. Pape Matasar isn't a 10. Who's our 10? Because Frank, I don't get it. I don't understand your point. It's not a need. It's not a need. It's a want. Sorry, I don't agree, Rodney. I think you're wrong. We do need a 10. You can use a false 9. Sorry, I've started picking out comments now. I've lost my head, Frank. You need to bring me back in. It's dereliction of duty by the board, says DFST. Are you lot mad? We need a 10. 100% we need a 10. I can't believe. I'll tell you what, Rodney, just to prove you wrong, guys, interaction point, right, in the chat, put a number 10 if we need a 10 and put no if we don't need a number 10. Let's see the 200 and something people watching what they put. And guys, the numbers have been crazy. We've nearly been live for 2 hours. Please, please, please do me a massive favor and smash the like button while you're there and smash the subscribe button. It's free to do so. We're on the march to 4K. I think we're just under 100 away now, which is crazy, crazy support. So please smash the like, smash the subscribe, and get your super chats and your memberships in. As we said earlier, we want to do membership shows where we get... This would have been perfect for a membership show, by the way, Frank, getting people on for their reaction for this. So if you want to become a member and anytime, I'm going to say any show you want to come on, if you become a member for £2 a month, you can come in here. I'll give you the StreamYard link and you can come and chat Like now, I want people to come and give me their thoughts on this because I'm having an absolute meltdown.
Can I butt in? Fabrizio Romano has just said, following talks tonight.
I'll get
Arsenal.
it up.
Oh, you got it up.
I'll get it up.
Yeah.
I need to unfollow Fabrizio. I might as well. Is it this one?
No, it's just come out. It says, following talks tonight, Arsenal convinced that Eberechi Eze prefers to join them over Tottenham. £60 million package has been offered with easier add-ons and a faster payment to try and beat Spurs. Negotiations are underway. So it is literally down to Daniel Levy and his pathetic excuse of football club ownership and management, because there is always a desperation to try and save some money, and it has once again cost them. They went for Morgan Gibbs-White. It didn't happen for whatever reason. Maybe it wasn't a money saving issue, but it didn't happen. Right? That they then find their next alternative, where and they go for Eberechi Eze. They sit around waiting around for 3 or 4 weeks, doing literally nothing. Just pointless article after pointless article. Oh, they're in advanced talks, and Fabrizio Romano saying it's 85% done. I mean, it's just nobody had a clue. It was nonsense. It was rubbish. And as that comment says about being deflated, that's what it is. The whole summer has relied on players that we might sign. We might sign Gibbs-White. We might sign Eze. It'd be great if we did. It'd be great if we signed Savinho. At the end of the day, we have signed, and I'm pleased with Paulinho. I think Paulinho's a decent deal on loan, and I'm very pleased with Eze. We have had an absolute stinker of a window. They've not sold anyone. They've brought in one player long-term, maybe two if you can't tell actually long-term, a little bit, that can make an impact now and be here long-term. Paulinho might be here for a year, maybe 2 years. But the majority of what's gone on, given that a month ago as well, he also said he wants to win the Premier League and the Champions League. When they did an interview with him and Vinay, they did the interview just after Thomas Frank was appointed, and they said, I want to win the league, I want to win the Champions League. He went on Gary Neville's overlap and he said, I want to keep winning things. I want to keep winning things. You will never, ever consistently win things acting in this manner. And maybe he thinks that they can because they won the Europa League. As I say, they were favourites to win that competition. And I'm not in any way disregarding the success of it because it was brilliant, but they were favourites to win that competition. That is not down to Daniel Levy. Maybe they would have won it even easier if Tottenham went out and bought some players. If Tottenham went out and backed other managers, maybe they wouldn't have been in it at all. Maybe they would have been in the Champions League and in a much better, with all due respect, a better competition. Had he have gone out and invested previously. He's not. It felt like maybe this was the time. There were rumours of investment, rumours of Saudi Arabia ownership. There were rumours of this, that, the other, and nothing has happened. It has been an absolute disaster of a window, regardless of really what happens now in the last 10 days.
Absolutely, mate. I completely agree. And now we've got an even bigger task, like to make up for this window. I mean, anyway, I've just brought up this comment. User. How are you, morons? Thanks for your first comment in this chat, morons. Thanks, mate. I'd love to say the same back, but I can't even see your face.
Yeah.
Blaming Levy for this. This is purely on Eze. We had a deal agreed. Now he's backing out. You guys think this is? This is so easy to make a deal. LMAO. We just got shafted by Eze, not Levy. There's a few things to this user. The first thing is the fact that we pretty much had agreed a deal for Eze and we were messing around on the personal terms. We were messing around on clauses and add-ons and how much we will pay him if he gets the Ballon d'Or and how much we'll pay him if he gets this many goals and how much we'll give Palace if he does this and gives him, give them a part of the revenue that we get from all of these add-ons, right? The fee was agreed, 55 million plus 5 million in add-ons. They were messing around in meetings today, Steve Parish and Daniel Levy. They clearly haven't seen eye to eye. They clearly haven't found an agreement forward. Arsenal have seen all this in the press. Arsenal have seen all of this with the agents and everything else that's going on. Arsenal have people that can tap up at Eberechi Eze's agent. They've probably gone to Eberechi Eze's agent and gone, what's going on? What's going on? Is Eze going to Tottenham? And they've gone, no deal agreed. And therefore, Arsenal come in as per this tweet and gone and talked to Eze's camp Eze is preferring to join Arsenal over Tottenham, and they're trying a £60 million package with easier add-ons. As I just explained, we were pissing around. I'm getting annoyed now. We're pissing around with the add-ons. We're pissing around with the payment terms. Arsenal, serious club. There you go, Eze, and there you go, Palace. We'll give you the 60 million that you're after, and we'll sort out all the add-ons that you're after if Eze meets this, and this. Negotiations underway. I guarantee it, guys. He's going to Arsenal. He's going to Arsenal because we even said when we started this stream 2 hours ago that it was weird. It's gone all quiet. We knew something was coming on. We had Billy T on. We had Billy T tell us in the background that something was going on, and bang, suddenly that happened. So user, I don't know what you're talking about, mate, but I think 90% of the people in here would have to blame the board for this absolute mess up. It's a mess up. Frank, go ahead.
Cool. One sec. I just want to get a tweet up quickly. That I've just seen.
Sorry, guys. I've absolutely lost. I've never lost my head that bad on here, but that is just ridiculous. What's happened to the £60 million? Do you know what the thing is, Frank? Like, the thing that messes my head up, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, is we're talking about Eze 60 million. We're talking about Savinho 60 whatever million, maybe 70 million. So there's definitely 130 million in the bank, right? There's definitely 130 million in the bank. If we're messing around with add-ons, right? Forget Savinho for a sec, because it's probably not even going to happen anyway, right? 60 million for Eze. We're going to put 60 million in for Eze to Palace, right? We're messing around with add-ons. We're messing around with extras. We're messing around with extra money. Forget the Savinho deal. Take 5 or 10 million from the Savinho deal, or from the F1, or from Beyonce concert, or from Travis Scott, or from the boxing, or from Levy Land, right? Take that, 10 million extra, give Palace whatever they want, because this window has been a disaster, an absolute disaster. Give Palace what they want, give the player what he wants, give the agents what they want, and crack on. Why can we not do it? Why do we have to come on here and try and justify the reason for this fuck up? I don't get it. I really don't understand it, Frank. I know you want to share your screen on something.
Yeah, it's only something little, and it's just a very good point. It's from James Moore, who's at The Athletic, and it's part of the View from the Lane podcast. And it's a very simple tweet, but it sums it up perfectly. The Gibbs White contract was 28 days ago. So we knew we weren't getting more than Gibbs White 28 days ago. Madison got injured 17 days ago. So we knew we were without a 10 going into the season 17 days ago. We knew Gibbs White was not an option, and we didn't have a 10 2.5 weeks ago. Havertz got injured a day ago. 20 in the last 24 or 48 hours, whatever. I mean, what are they doing? I mean, it's almost laughable because it's just so embarrassing. And it's, I mean, Billy T obviously was on here this evening, has put something on Twitter a minute ago, I saw, and he basically said that this feels like probably the most sort of humbling one of the lot. You know, there's a comment there, I was going to say a minute ago, that £70 million got apparently bid on deadline day for Mark Gahey last January. Oh, you know, we tried, didn't quite have enough time. £60 million got chucked onto Morgan Gibbs White after Mohamed Kudus, by the way. So apparently so. So that means, in theory, there should still be another 60 million lying around, which is exactly what Arsenal have gone and then paid for over HJ. So why has it not happened? Okay, for whatever reason, they haven't agreed on something. That's down to Tottenham. They have to, and I mean, they have to go and find something now and go and sign someone big. Because as much as I like Bilal El-Khanous, as much as I don't mind Harvey Elliott, my real fear now is Tottenham end up with someone like Christopher Nkunku or something ridiculous from Chelsea on loan, and I can see it being a disaster. I you know, that sounds insane. I fear for Daniel Levy, because this is going to be, given how big the protests have been in the last year, given that Tottenham have just got back into the Champions League, they've finally won a trophy. We've then sacked the manager because you want to compete on all four fronts. Wonderful. I have no issue with that, because the manager, you could argue that he should have gone, you could, until you're blue in the face. Fine. He goes, wonderful. You bring someone new in because you want to compete on all four fronts. Great. Fantastic again. They're showing ambition. The 9th of July, they agree Mohamed Kudus. Here we go. Fantastic. The 10th of July, they agree Morgan Gibbs-White. The 11th of July, Christian Romero is apparently staying at the club, alongside rumours of external investment from Saudi Arabia. Since then, we're talking a month and 10 days ago, so 40-odd days ago, Gibbs-White has signed a new contract. Eze is now going to Arsenal. We've lost James Maddison. There's no investment talks whatsoever. And we've been given a Romero new contract. So of the 4 or 5 things that were going on in that period of time, one of them has happened. One of them has happened. It's complete and utter negligence. It's a disaster. And as I say, I hope for them that they have got something lined up, because if they don't, it's going to be a very, very, very long season for them. I feel sorry for Thomas Frank. I feel really sorry for Thomas Frank, because he's now coming into and trying to build something at Tottenham whilst he's going to have noise constantly from the outside. As there's a comment there from Archer. So I should stop ranting for a minute, because we've got a member. So I should smile a little bit.
There you go. First member. You can come on. First member of the show. First member of the channel, sorry. We've had memberships available for a week or two now. Jack Morrissey becomes in the Spurs-related Hall of Fame. We had memberships before, but then we lost them. But if you guys want to come on here, like Jack, you can now message me on Twitter or whatever you want to do to get on here. Message me on Spurs-related Twitter. If you want to come and have your say, Jack, I don't know if you're forward-facing or you want to come in on this, but you can come and do so. So, guys, the membership option is available down below. It's £2 a month. God, cheer us up, man. Cheer us up, guys. Had to keep some positive energy going. You guys are great. Keep it up and stay together as Spurs fans. Really appreciate that, mate. Really appreciate that. Guys, yeah, super chats are available. We're going to be live for a little bit longer. We were planning to go off for a while ago, but obviously things happened. I'm just catching up with chat. I've just been scrolling Twitter while you've been talking, Frank. Honestly, I was listening to what you're saying as well. I mean, it is absolute cesspit on there. The protests and stuff are just going to go nuts. If this actually happens, if Eze's gone to Arsenal, it's just going to be carnage. Every window is the same. All noise and PR. We've seen this all before. So when are we taking bets on our next manager in 18 months? Yeah. When's the cycle? When are they going to learn that they need to back a manager so that they don't then, have to reset every 2 years? It's so boring, isn't it? What if we have managed to get Omar on loan and offering what City want for Savinho? Just saying. Is that you thinking positively, Jessica? If you are, appreciate it. Let them know, Frank, says A1 Synergy. You were off on one. Frank. We've both been off on one, mate. Eze's going to Arsenal, I believe. Levy, the way he bottles transfers and poor recruitment every time just makes my mental health decline every day. Mate, I'm with you. I've seen some Arsenal fans are in this chat as well. It's just all kicked off, really, hasn't it? It's all kicked off. Here we go. True say. So with the Saka thing. Lol. What? I mean, I can't even bring myself to say what a European trophy, Frank. I actually can't. I feel like I've been beaten. I feel like I've been beaten.
I mean, yeah, I have to agree. But as you say, they've got Eze, but they have very little European history, and they haven't won anything in the last 5 years. So they can. Hopefully, Eze gives them that nice day out at Wembley that they're all hoping for. But yeah, I mean that's spot on. That Morgan Rogers, they have to go for a high level player. I like Bilal El Khanous. I think he's a good player. I like Harvey Elliott, and as good as these guys are, I think they're good players. You can't. You've got to go with a name now. Morgan Rogers would be a dream. I don't think it will happen. I don't think Villa will let us. I mean, they're probably in a little bit of financial scrutiny. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a job for me when I come off, actually.
Oh dear, Mikatadze. Is this a link or is this you?
No, he's commented about Mikatadze about 6 times. I would guess, and this isn't any disrespect, but I would guess that you are not a. This is Rodney Trotter. But I would guess that that you're not an avid Leon watcher. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm very wrong, but I don't think many people are avid Leon watchers over here. But I'm not sure when Mikatadze fixes this problem. He's a number 9. He's a number 9 that can play off the left. We were talking about we need a 10, and I know you don't think we do, but we need a 10. So yeah.
There we go. Well, Looks like we've got some more work to do, Frank, because we have to probably do another video after this on number 10 options. Can't believe I'm saying that. But guys, we've been live for 2 hours. I really appreciate all the support. Despite all the bad news, if you could do me 3 favors to help my mental health after what's happened. If you could smash the like on this video, it's free to do so. If you could smash subscribe on the channel and you haven't already done so, please do so. We're on the march to 4K. We're only about 90 off now. If you could also please turn on your notification bells. If you do so, we'll do another video tonight reviewing number 10s or maybe something about this Eze news, of course. There's a little short form video if you guys want something to watch before bed. So please let me know. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Frank, any final thoughts before I go?
I don't know what else. I feel I'm slightly speechless, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, that's the comment in the bathtub. I think that's probably the one. Just felt very, very, very deflated, but doesn't ever change.
Okay, there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate all the support. Like, subscribe, comment, notification bells on. That's the most important one, in my opinion. Memberships options available if you want to come on next time. And as always, guys, remember, come on, you Spurs. Do something now.